Have you ever been hurt so deeply, betrayed, humiliated, abandoned, that all you could think about was one thing? Revenge. Not justice. Not healing. Just that burning desire to make them feel the pain they caused you. It's natural. It's human. When someone wounds us, our instinct is to fight back, to balance the scale, to show them we're not weak. But what if I told you that the strongest move isn't retaliation, it's refusal? The Stoics saw revenge differently. To them, the moment you react in anger, you've already lost. Why? Because you're no longer in control. You've handed your emotions, the most sacred part of you, over to the person who hurt you. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Let that sink in. Your greatest victory isn't proving them wrong. It's proving they never had power over you in the first place. Here's the paradox. The more you dwell on revenge, the more space that person takes up in your life. They become the center of your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions. You think you're punishing them, but you're actually keeping yourself in the prison they built. And meanwhile, they've moved on. While you're still holding the grudge, still burning your fingers on a flame they lit long ago. Seneca, another Stoic giant, said it plainly. No one can harm you without your permission. At first, that might sound unrealistic. Of course, people can harm us. They can lie, cheat, betray. But Stoicism teaches us this deeper truth. The real damage is not in the act itself. It's in how much power we give it afterward. Think about it. How many hours, days, even years have we wasted replaying what they did? How many sleepless nights fueled by imaginary conversations and revenge scenarios? What if all that energy went toward something else, something that actually serves you? Because here's the truth the world doesn't teach us. You don't need to get even to get free. You don't need to break them down to build yourself back up. The goal isn't revenge, it's liberation from the need to react, from the obsession with outcomes, from the emotional grip of someone who never deserved that much of you in the first place. And that's what this video is about. It's not just a lesson in Stoic philosophy. It's a roadmap out of pain, out of anger, and into power. By the end of this journey, the person who hurt you will no longer own a single inch of your peace. Because true revenge isn't loud. It's not cruel. It's not chaos. It's becoming so steady, so fulfilled, so far above their reach, that their actions can no longer touch you. So ask yourself right now, are you still giving someone power over your emotions, long after they're gone? If so, you're not alone. But this ends today. Because the greatest revenge is not about making them suffer, it's about becoming untouchable. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why traditional revenge is a trap. Have you ever caught yourself replaying the moment someone wronged you, over and over again? Thinking of all the things you should have said. Imagining how it would feel to make them feel the pain they caused you. That fantasy, that sweet revenge, can feel like justice, like balance, like closure. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Traditional revenge doesn't heal. It keeps you stuck. At first, revenge feels empowering. It feels like taking back control, like reclaiming your dignity, like finally leveling the playing field. But that feeling? It's an illusion. It's like gripping a burning coal just to throw it back at the one who hurt you. You're the one who gets scorched first. You're the one carrying the heat, the pain, the anger. And while you're holding on, they've already moved on. Let's talk about that for a second, because this isn't just philosophy. It's biology. Back in ancient times, revenge had a function. It was a survival mechanism, a warning to others. You hurt me, and there are consequences. In tribal life, if someone stole from you or betrayed your trust, you had to strike back or risk being seen as weak. But we're not in the jungle anymore. We're not fighting for food or territory, and yet we're still wired to want revenge. Today it just shows up differently. We ghost people. We hold grudges. We talk behind their backs. We give the cold shoulder and smile in silence, hoping the other person feels the weight of our absence. But all of that, it still keeps the wound open. It still keeps them in control. So let me ask you, is your pain teaching you? Or is it trapping you? Because when pain becomes your identity, revenge becomes your addiction. You think you're healing. You think you're standing up for yourself. But what you're really doing is dragging the betrayal into every corner of your life, your work, your relationships, your peace. And it doesn't stop there. Let's zoom out. Let's look at history. There's a reason Stoics are remembered and feared, not for their violence, but for their restraint. Take Emperor Caracalla, obsessed with revenge, paranoid, ruthless. He ruled with fear, constantly trying to silence his enemies. And how did his story end? He was murdered by his own guard. The very people who once served him couldn't stand the chaos he created. Now contrast that with Marcus Aurelius, also an emperor, also betrayed. One of his most trusted generals, Avidius Cassius, declared himself emperor while Marcus was ill and rumored to be dying. Now pause there. Imagine that, being betrayed by someone you led, someone you trusted. And yet, Marcus didn't respond with rage. He didn't send assassins. He stayed calm. He even said, if Cassius has done this, then he had his reasons. What happened? Next, Cassius's own men turned on him. Marcus didn't have to lift a finger. He kept his dignity, his peace, his control, and that's the Stoic lesson. Reacting emotionally is weakness. Remaining unaffected is strength, because emotional reactivity means you've been hijacked. It means you've surrendered the most powerful thing you own, your mind. Seneca put it like this: the best remedy for anger is delay. Simple but powerful. That delay, that moment of stillness, is where your power lives. And here's the part that hits hardest. Science backs it up. Modern psychology shows that revenge doesn't bring relief, it extends the pain. Studies show people who seek revenge feel more anxiety, less closure, and lower overall well-being. Because what revenge does is bind you to the event. You're no longer just someone who was hurt, you're someone who's stuck, mentally, emotionally, energetically. So let's bring this home. Ask yourself, who still lives rent-free in your mind? Who are you still trying to win against? Who are you still trying to prove wrong? And then, ask this, what has that cost you? Your sleep, your energy, your peace? Because the truth is, every moment you spend thinking about them is a moment you're not building yourself. And if that's not the ultimate revenge, living better, freer, lighter, then what is? The Stoics never said, don't feel. They said, feel wisely. They didn't say, don't get hurt. They said, don't stay hurt, and most importantly, they never said, don't respond. They said, respond in a way that builds you, not breaks you. So, if you're still holding that coal, still playing that scene on loop in your head, still waiting for the apology, the karma, the moment where they finally feel what you felt, know this: you don't need it. You don't need them to lose. You need you to win. And that starts by letting go. Not for their sake, but for yours. In the next chapter, we'll explore what the Stoics called the true revenge, how to transform that pain into purpose and rise so far above it all, you become untouchable. But for now, take a breath. Take your power back, because the longer you hold on to resentment, the longer they control you. And the moment you release it, you become free. Chapter 2. The Stoic Formula for True Revenge. So you've been hurt. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe they lied about you. Maybe they tried to destroy your confidence, your career, your name. And naturally you want revenge. But not just any revenge. A revenge that lasts. A revenge that doesn't just sting, but elevates. A revenge that transforms you, not into someone bitter, but into someone untouchable. And that's what the Stoics understood better than anyone. The highest form of revenge is not destruction, it's evolution. Let's start with a quote from Marcus Aurelius. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Read that again. The person who wronged you, they don't control your emotions, your reactions, or your destiny, unless you hand it to them. And if you do, they've already won without lifting another finger. That's why the Stoic formula for revenge doesn't begin with retaliation. It begins with control, not over them, over yourself. Picture this. Two fighters step into a ring. One is wild, swinging, with rage, eyes full of fire. The other is calm, poised, breathing slowly, focused. Who's more dangerous? Not the loud one, not the furious one, the calm one. Because anger may bring energy, but clarity brings precision. In Stoicism, the calm warrior always wins, because they don't fight for ego, they fight with discipline. You see, pain clouds the mind, and when your mind is cloudy, your choices get sloppy. So the first rule of real revenge: don't react, respond, breathe, pause, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Do I want to stay in this story or outgrow it? Because the goal isn't to get them back. The goal is to never need to. Let's be honest. We've all been told, let it go. But Stoicism goes deeper. It says, don't just let it go. Rise above it. Use it. Not to tolerate pain, but to transcend it. Because indifference isn't weakness. Indifference is strength forged through self-control. When someone insults you and you smile with quiet grace, when someone betrays you and you don't flinch, that's not passive. That's powerful. You're not ignoring the pain, you're mastering it. Let's look at some real-world examples of this principle in action. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, tortured, dehumanized. He had every reason to be consumed by revenge. And yet, when he was finally released, when he became president of the very country that once caged him, he didn't retaliate, he forgave, he united, he transcended. He chose peace over vengeance, and in doing so, changed the course of history. His revenge wasn't violence. It was elevation. Or take Steve Jobs, fired from his own company, betrayed by the board he helped build. He could have lashed out. Instead, he built something new. He went deeper, he got better. And when he returned, he wasn't just successful. He was legendary. He didn't get even. He outgrew them. That's Stoic revenge in action. It's not loud, it's not petty, it's permanent. And finally, there's the step most people never take. The part that scares us the most. Letting go. Because we think letting go means they win. But that's the lie. Letting go doesn't mean they're right. It doesn't mean what happened didn't matter. It means you matter more. It means you've stopped sacrificing your present for a past that can't be changed. It means you've stopped letting them live in your mind rent-free. Letting go isn't surrender, it's release. Release from the loop. Release from the weight. Release from the identity of someone who was hurt. Because you're not just what happened to you. You are what you choose to become next. Epictetus, another Stoic master, said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." That's it right there. Don't talk about revenge. Live so powerfully, so purposefully, so peacefully that the person who once broke you becomes irrelevant. That's your revenge. You don't need to show them you've won. You just need to be someone they can't touch anymore. So let me ask, you, who still has emotional power over you? Who still lives in your thoughts, shaping how you feel, what you say, who you trust? And more importantly, are they worth that power? If the answer is no, then this is your moment. Take a breath. Not to forget, not to excuse, but to step forward. Because true revenge isn't waiting for karma. It's becoming untouchable. You've heard the phrase, living well is the best revenge. But in the Stoic world, living free is the highest revenge. When you become someone so focused, so grounded, so unstoppable, you don't just silence your enemies, you transcend them. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the daily mental techniques to help you release resentment, break the cycle of emotional reactivity, and embody the kind of self-respect that cannot be shaken. But for now, don't seek to win the argument. Win yourself back, because no one deserves that power more than you. Chapter 3. Practicing Stoicism to let go of resentment. Let me ask you something that most people never pause long enough to consider. What if the person who hurt you no longer mattered? What if their name didn't trigger you? What if their memory didn't tighten your chest? What if you could see their face and feel absolutely nothing? Not coldness, not rage, just neutrality, peace. That's not forgetting. That's not weakness. That's freedom. And that's the essence of this chapter. How to actually let go of resentment using the timeless power of Stoic practice. Because let's be honest, most people don't want to hold a grudge, but they don't know how to let go of it either. It's not that we enjoy being bitter, it's that the pain feels unfinished. We keep reliving the moment in our minds, hoping that this time, the outcome will be different. That this time, they'll apologize. That this time, justice will finally show up. But all it does is trap us in a mental loop. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, nailed it when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The betrayal may have happened once, but if you replay it 100 times in your mind, you suffer it 100 times more. And that's the cycle we're going to break today. Mental reframing. Change the story, change the outcome. Here's the first shift. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What if this no longer defined me? What if this pain became a portal to something better? What if the person who hurt me became irrelevant to the story of who I am becoming?" When you reframe your experience, you reclaim your narrative, because the person who betrayed you isn't holding the knife anymore. You are. And the moment you stop twisting it is the moment healing begins. 2 simple but powerful techniques. Let's get practical. Here are 2 Stoic-inspired methods to release resentment. 1. Write it, but don't send it. Take a blank sheet of paper or open a doc. Write everything you wish you could say to them, unfiltered, unedited, no holding back, then destroy it. Why? Because you don't need to deliver that pain, you just need to release it. This act helps you process emotion without feeding drama. It's a mental purge and it works. 2. Stoic visualization. Time travel your mind. Close your eyes and picture yourself 5 years into the future. You're healthier, wiser, stronger. Now ask, will this betrayal still control me 5 years from now? Most of the time the answer is no. That future version of you, they're not bitter, they're busy living. That question shrinks today's pain and reminds you of what's still possible. Real stories, real strength. Let's go beyond theory. Let's talk about 2 people who turned pain into power. Sarah was betrayed by the man she thought she would marry. Engaged, plans made, families involved. And then, suddenly, gone. He cheated. Left. No closure. At first she was wrecked. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't trust. Couldn't breathe without remembering. But, over time something shifted. She stopped asking why he did it, and started asking what it revealed about her. Her patterns, her boundaries, her self-worth. She went to therapy, took herself on solo trips, rebuilt her confidence. And today, she's thriving in a career she loves, surrounded by people who uplift her. She doesn't need revenge, because the best revenge is no longer caring. Then there's Daniel, a startup founder betrayed by his co-partner. Money stolen, contracts violated, clients lost. He had every reason to sue, to destroy the other company. But instead he refocused. He built something new, stronger, cleaner. He outgrew the chaos, and here's the irony. Years later, his ex-partner's company collapsed, on its own. Daniel didn't have to do a thing, because karma doesn't need your help, it just needs your distance. Daily Stoic practice. Build your inner firewall. So how do we make this mindset stick? How do we stop ourselves from sliding back into resentment? The Stoics offer a daily toolkit. Mental detachment. Remind yourself everything is temporary, including betrayal, including pain, including the people who caused it. Nothing they did was permanent, unless you make it so. Reframing as a habit. Every betrayal is a teacher. Ask, what did this reveal? Where were my blind spots? What strength did this force me to build? Turn betrayal into insight. Turn pain into purpose. That's how Stoics grow, by using life's hits as fuel, the ultimate Stoic principle. And now we arrive at the core. The highest form of letting go is not about forgiveness. It's not about confrontation. It's about transcendence. Live so well, so intentionally, so powerfully, that those who wronged you become irrelevant. They don't disappear. You just grow so far beyond them that they're no longer part of your view. You stop needing to be right. You stop needing to be repaid. You stop needing them to know how much they hurt you, because your new life speaks louder than any revenge ever could. So here's what I want you to remember. You don't heal by winning. You heal by releasing. You heal by walking forward, without dragging the past behind you. Let them fade. Let them go. Not because they deserve peace, but because you do. In the final chapter, we'll bring everything together. The Stoic path to reclaiming your peace, your power, and your purpose, even after betrayal. But right now, pause and ask yourself, is today the day I stop giving them power? If the answer is yes, then you've already taken your first step toward freedom. So we've walked through the fire. We've looked at the nature of revenge, the trap of retaliation, the quiet power of stoicism, and how real freedom comes not from striking back, but from rising above. Now let's bring it all together, because this is where the real lesson begins. Revenge isn't about making them suffer. That's what the world tells you. Get even, get louder, get back, but that path only leaves you bitter, exhausted, chained to the very people you're trying to escape. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they knew something deeper. True revenge is becoming untouchable, not just externally, internally. It's about walking through betrayal with your head high and your peace intact. It's about reaching a place where nothing they do can disturb your emotional state, where their existence no longer defines your experience. That's what freedom looks like. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing revenge, the moment you release the need to prove anything, is the exact moment you become powerful. Let's call it what it is. People who hurt you don't just want to harm your reputation or your resources. They want control over your emotions. That's the real goal, to watch you spiral, to watch you break, to live rent-free in your head. But when you respond with silence and when you remain calm, focused, grounded, you take all that power back. Indifference is not apathy. Indifference is armor. It's you saying, I see what you did. I just refuse to let it shape who I become. So, what do you do with the pain? You don't suppress it. You don't bury it. You transform it. You turn betrayal into clarity. You turn heartbreak into boundaries. You turn anger into fuel. To build something so meaningful, so unshakable that their name no longer echoes in your life. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Marcus Aurelius gave us the final word on this centuries ago. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Let that sink in. It doesn't mean becoming better in words. It means becoming better in action. You don't need to retaliate. You just need to refuse to mirror them. Because when you embody self-respect, emotional discipline, and purpose, they become small. You become vast. Here's a question only you can answer. Are you still holding the coal? Still gripping the pain, the memory, the need for closure? Still reliving the argument, replaying the betrayal, hoping karma will do what you haven't? If so, ask yourself, has it helped, or has it only delayed your peace? Because here's the truth you might not want to hear, but need to. They're not suffering. You are. And they don't need to feel what you felt. They don't need to understand what they did. You need to move on anyway. This is your turning point. Let go of the coal. Not for them, for you. Let go of proving anything. Let go of fixing the past. Let go of thinking justice has to look like revenge. And instead, reclaim your power. Start focusing so hard on your own growth, your own evolution, your own peace, that you forget they ever had a role in your story. Because at the end of the day, the strongest people aren't the ones who fight back. They're the ones who no longer need to. So here's what I want you to do. Pause for a moment. Breathe deeply. Then ask yourself, what would my life look like if I no longer carried this pain? Who would I be if I stopped waiting for them to suffer and just started living well? What does letting go actually make room for? That's where your power is. It's not in the wound. It's in what you choose to build from it. And now, one final challenge. Drop a comment right now. Tell us how you're shifting your mindset today. Write, I let go to rise above. Or share your own version. Let this be the moment you draw a line in the sand between the past and your future, because the best revenge, it's peace, it's power. It's living in a way that makes the person who hurt you completely irrelevant. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. And if you're ready to live with purpose, power, and stoic calm, hit that subscribe button, because this journey is just getting started. See you in the next lesson, and until then, be unlike them. Be untouchable. Be free.